Fierce ladies, welcome to the Moms in Real Estate podcast, where we unleash our unapologetic power to share the raw truth of our journeys. Brace yourself for a dose of empowerment, education, and encouragement like never before. I'm Kristin, a relentless entrepreneur obsessed with connecting and uplifting fellow boss babes. In this podcast, we're all about getting down to business, conquering motherhood, nurturing relationships, and so much more. Get ready to dive into the nitty-gritty, embrace the hustle, and unravel the secrets of success in the world of real estate. We're here to ignite your fire, equip you with the knowledge, and unleash your limitless potential. Tune in as we redefine what it means to be a true boss babe. Hello, Moms in Real Estate. Welcome back to another episode. I am excited today to have Elena Kee on, which is one of our Moms in Real Estate Facebook partners, and she owns Kee Technology. And I can't wait to dive in because I will tell you, I talk to agents all the time, and one of their biggest struggles is the systems. And she's like a systems wizard. So we're going to dive into her journey and then a lot of systems things and hopefully some tactical takeaways. So hi.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Why don't we get started by telling us how you even got into the real estate industry?
It was back in, I would say maybe like 2013. I was just leaving my first big role job after college. It was at a church, and I was looking for, I just wanted to start brand new somewhere. I realized my major was just not going to be what I wanted to do the rest of my life, which was piano performance. It's like, okay, well, I need to start all over again here because I don't want to be a teacher or a performer anymore. So I was just looking for administrative assistant positions and really clicked with a local real estate team here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and onboarded as an admin. So I was doing the stuff no one else wants to do when I first started. I was doing the temporary signs in the front yard, the lockbox, the listing descriptions, communication with sellers, property visits, all that fun stuff.
I actually think that a lot of the moms listening to this show right now want that opportunity. So I think a lot of people are they want that foot in the door where they're getting that experience before they go and they start helping buyers and sellers. So what was it like? Tell us a little bit about, the beginning days.
So I'm naturally an introvert. So it was a big stretch for me whenever they had me start doing the visits. Cause I'm that's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be an agent. That was one of the questions they asked me during the interview process. They said, do you ever want to be an agent? And when I said no, she said, you're perfect. Because she didn't want someone who was going to leave them or will get bored. But it is a really big learning opportunity where I learned all of the ins and outs of the entire business model. As the admin, I had to learn everything. And then I also took on the marketing position a year and a half, 2 years in when their marketer left. So that was even just more knowledge I was sucking in for the way that the whole business model works.
Did you enjoy the marketing aspect of it?
I did. I really enjoyed building the marketing structure and plan because there was one, but I wanted to revamp it. And then once I did and I had a process, I was ready to move on. But at that point, there was no growth left in the team. So I did enjoy the build process, but then it kind of felt mundane and I was ready to do something else.
Is that when you decided to start your own business?
It is. Yeah. It was kind of twofold where I had been there for 4 years and then I also was pregnant. So I decided maybe I'll just be a stay-at-home mom. And so after I had my daughter, I worked for them part-time still just to have some income. And then I realized I was really bored and I realized stay-at-home mom life, not for me. I love my daughter, but I want to be doing something else other than caring for a kiddo. So I slowly just started offering virtual assistant work.
Yeah.
Initially. It wasn't something I was oh, let me build out the CRM from the beginning. It was just hey, if anyone needs help with their CRM, I've helped build this one real estate teams from the ground up and their marketing. So I'm happy to offer services. So it was initially started off with one-offs in Facebook groups the Follow Up Boss group or in masterminds that would be similar to Moms in Real Estate.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think sometimes as an introvert too, when you're in these admin positions or transaction coordinating positions, it's hard because you still have to go out and market yourself to get business. And as much as you're like an introvert and you're like, I don't want to go like be a salesperson, did you find it hard to go and get the agent's business and build those agent to agent relationships?
Yes. I'm very thankful now where I'm not on sales calls every day.
Yeah.
I definitely found a flow again. Like anytime I learn something new, I'm the type of person where it has to turn into a repeatable system. So I had to figure out what are those calls going to be like? What are the most common questions people are going to ask? And I tried to systemize it as much as possible.
Yeah.
That way I wasn't as anxious going into the calls. So once I built that system, it was a little bit easier, but even still, just as an introvert, it's really draining whenever you do back-to-back calls all day for 8 hours. So I am thankful that I slowly passed that on to someone who that's their one thing is they're really good at being a salesperson.
So I have to tell you, I love talking to people all day, but if I'm on back-to-back calls, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I just actually was talking about that a couple minutes ago. I'm like, when you're on Zooms back-to-back having conversations, it's so hard to like, it's just towards the end, you're like, I can't even hold a conversation anymore.
And it's hard to disconnect from one call to another, or for agents, like from one appointment to another. It's really hard not to carry the weight of that conversation to the next one.
Yes.
Especially if it was not such a great conversation. Maybe it wasn't a good conversation. And it's really hard to take a moment to pause, to do a deep breath and just tell yourself like, hey, like that happened. It's okay. I'm going to go into this with a new mindset. Doing some meditation has helped, even like just on Headspace. They have like a 60-second 5 deep breaths. If that's all I get, that just really helps reset the mind when going from one call or one appointment to another.
Is that the box breath method?
No, yeah, I guess so. I guess it has this breathe in slowly for 5, hold for, or it's 4, 5, 6, something like that.
Yeah, I did read about your health journey, and I would love to dive into that if you're open to it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I know a lot of women in this business get caught up in the hustle culture and the like need to hurry up and like be the best and be on the boards and all these things. And what I find is I talk to a lot of women around my age who've been in the business the same amount of time, and we're just all like burnt out, exhausted. We have nervous system problems. You had them to like another degree. So why don't you tell everyone about that?
Yeah, so I guess starting at the beginning of the business journey, I followed the gurus like Alex Hormozy and people like him who are hustle culture.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate people like him because there is a need for it, because there are some lazy people who need that jab.
Yeah.
But for people like us who already are hardworking, and then to watch somebody like Alex and feel like you're still so far behind, even though you're working really hard and you've created systems, you feel that pressure and you internalize that to a very great degree, even more so. Like if you're a high performing person already, I'm like type A personality. He was not the right person to follow, hindsight. So yeah, back in like 2023, right when the business was really kicking off and I was starting to hire help and was really starting to scale the business, it was a really stressful time. And at the same time, just navigating being a mom and feeling like, oh, I have to be fully present with my daughter, but also building this business, which I know all moms in this community deal with this struggle and pain. But I was at the FOB conference, actually. I was at the Vault Boss conference, and I was not wearing the right walking shoes. And I walked all day because I was like, I'm tired of sitting. Let's just walk around. Like, these sessions right now on the agenda aren't really serving me. So I walked a lot. It was in LA, and I wore Vans, and those are just the worst shoes you can wear when you're walking a lot. And
they're my favorite walking shoes, but keep going.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I threw mine away after this experience, but it wasn't anything major, but I felt like a really sharp pain all of a sudden in my left ankle. But then it went away. So I was like, well, okay, that was weird. There was like one random sharp pain and now it's gone. So then I continued walking. And then when I got home, I ended up going to the state fair too. And so that was like, and Texas is a huge deal where you're walking all day. following that conference and then the state fair, that shooting pain just like did not stop. Ooh. And when I went to like a doc in the box, orthopedic doc in the box, they said, well, you have a minor tear, but it shouldn't be causing this much pain. Let's try a boot. But the boot made everything 100 times worse. And I said, that doesn't make sense. This doesn't line up with like what I'm feeling. And the x-ray shows it should be like super minor. Like according to them, I didn't even really need the boot. And the physical therapist, like anything she tried, it made everything worse too. So thankfully, the second orthopedic specialist I saw, he's a surgeon. He diagnosed me with complex regional pain syndrome because he did scans again. And he said, well, it's fully healed structurally, but your nervous system is stuck. It's stuck thinking that you're still hurt. And by that point, it had spread to like up to my knee. Wow. Where it felt like if I put any weight on my leg, it was going to like snap in half. It was really, really traumatic. And I couldn't get out of bed. And I just couldn't even bear weight. And then the mind and the nervous system is so weird. Like a couple months later, while I'm trying to go through this journey with like the pain management specialist and her physical therapist that knows, thankfully, because it's not really a well-known condition of CRPS, it spread to my right leg and said that my right leg started hurting really bad. And I couldn't bear weight on either one. So I was wheelchair bound. And thankfully, I started advocating for myself. So over the course of like 10 months, I went and get something called like nerve block, where they like put a shot in your back to kind of reset the nerves, to tell it to calm down. It's like an on-off switch. It's kind of weird. But I think I did a total of like 6, 3 on each side. So that combined with like desensitization brought me back to almost normal. It's not fully normal to this day, and I don't think it ever will be. They call it like remission. And again, there's nothing structurally wrong, but my nervous system is just stuck in this like fight or flight, and I'm continually working through it. And part of that process was like meditation, slowing down, not putting so much stress on myself. There was a big mind-body connection to it. I think that was my big trigger, was stress. And I was just putting more and more stress on myself after I got hurt. I'm like, I have to get better. I'm falling behind. I can't even sit at my desk. The business is going to like crumble. I'm going to go bang. Like I had become like the main income provider for the house. So I was just carrying so much stress. And I think that's why it just kept getting amplified, because I didn't realize at the time there was a big connection there.
Hello, it's Barbara with Your Tax Coach, and I have a tax tip for you today. Do you want an instant pay raise? Of course you do. So if you're making over $40,000 a year in commissions, you really need to be an S corporation. You are overpaying in taxes if you're not an S Corp yet. Let me break it down. When you're an LLC or single member LLC or just a sole proprietor, you're paying federal tax, state tax, and a hidden tax called self-employment tax. It's an extra 15.3% on top of your federal tax rate. So imagine if you were making $100,000, that's an extra 15 grand that you're paying in taxes. So if you switch to an S Corp, it's like getting an instant pay raise. And the bonus tip of being an S Corp is you're 35 times less likely to be audited by the IRS than if you were a Schedule C filing it on your personal tax return. So it's super, super important that all of you listening are an S Corp. And if you want to know how to become an S Corp, DM me on Instagram at Your Tax Coach. It's me in the DMs, and I'm happy to answer your questions. Or you can go to yourtaxcoach.com.
Yeah, and I'm so thankful that you shared that story, because I think that so many of us are stuck in fight or flight and we don't even know what to do. And I think a big thing that you said was you became an advocate for yourself over 10 months. So I've had not that happen, but I've had a lot of nervous system work over the last year too. And it's wild how much our brain and our bodies can get disconnected, and just helping them get connected again is such a process. And there's so many different avenues to go, but you really do have to be an advocate for yourself. I thankfully found like two of the most amazing men that have helped me so much in my journey. And brain tapping is amazing too.
Oh, I haven't heard of that. What is brain tapping?
Oh, it's great. I wear like these goggles and they are these like things around because I have their earmuffs and then they have like a light thing and the lights flash and then I'm listening to audio and there's all these different like different topics that I can choose from. And then I just lay there and it just is basically meditation, but the lights flashing in your eyes help with resetting your nervous system.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I used to think all of this was like woo woo or just
A waste of
wacky
time.
stuff.
And I can't lay down and do this for 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, but it actually works. Like
It does.
I started working with a psychotherapist because it spread. It spread. I got into it, like I went back to my old ways and I got really stressed again over the summer. And in July, it happened again and it spread to more parts of my body. And so I had to reset. I'm like, no, like my nervous system just cannot handle being in a constant like stress state.
Yeah.
And so like I've been working with like a psychotherapist with mind body work, and it's wild.
It is wild. So if you're new in real estate and you're taking something away from this, don't run yourself into the ground and take care of yourself. And I think something else that you said that was really important, like Alex Hermosi is fantastic, you guys. However, he's not for everybody because someone like her and honestly someone like me, that's probably not the best person that we're like digesting every day because we're going to feel constantly behind. And I think that that's a good point is like you've got to find somebody who's like super motivating but also aligned with all the different things that you're doing, right? So who are you following now that kind of maybe replaced him?
I'm following psychotherapists, to be honest. I'm following Alan Gordon on Instagram, and I have his app Curable. I'm doing just the reverse right now. I'm not really putting a lot of following into business gurus because I found a lot of them they don't have kids. A lot of them are male, and the males' body and mind are so much different than the females. Like our hormones and nervous systems are so complex. But like people like Alex and Tim Ferriss, they don't have kids. So I haven't found necessarily like a business guru I'm following, but I am following Alan Gordon, and I have, which I mentioned before this call, I am starting to do like because again with that constantly feeling behind, with AI is a big component of that, feeling like I'm going to be behind, and everyone feels that.
Everyone feels that.
I've been following the course, doing an AI course with someone who is brilliant. Her name's Callan Faulkner.
I just saw her live last week.
Oh yeah, she's amazing.
I love her.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think everyone is feeling that AI. And I actually literally just had 2 agents yesterday text me, should I buy her course on AI? And I was like, I just heard her live on stage and I thought she was fantastic. I'd buy her course all day long.
100%.
I love that you just said
I'm on like
that.
week 3 or week 4. It's insane.
So another person maybe you could look at following that I subscribe to very minimal amounts of business stuff because otherwise I get too overwhelmed with it. But his name's Matt Gray, and he's all on like working 4 hours a day, and he's all about taking care of yourself and very systems driven. So I feel like that's somebody you might really like.
Okay, what's his name?
Matt Gray. I'll send you his Instagram profile in case it's like, because Matt Gray is probably a super popular name.
Yeah, I'll check him out for sure. Thank you.
All right, well, let's talk about key technology because, again, I said at the beginning of this podcast, people struggle with systems. And a lot of times, like, we get into real estate because we're relational people and we want to be out talking to people. And that's like our, out in the business, not like on the back end. And so one thing that's like really important to know is like you don't have to do all that. There's people that are really, really good at that you can partner with that they can do all of that. And so I think that one thing Elena's done, like she's been talking about, is she's really been good at the system side of things. So tell us a little bit about key technology.
Yeah, so the whole goal of why we started this is going back to like the virtual assistant work, the agents, the one-off projects I was doing. They were buying stuff on Etsy. They were buying one-off things that they saw on a Facebook ad, and they say, hey, like, here's this system I bought. Can you recreate it in my CRM? It has some templates. It has some recommendations for how to do whatever it is in CRM. and I would implement it for them. And then they would come back a couple months later and say, well, that program didn't work. Here's this next one, implement it. And it was just like this roundabout loop over and over again of they would try one thing, they would buy it and it wouldn't work. And so eventually they said, well, it seems like you know the CRM really well, like anything I throw at you, like you can tackle. What do you recommend? And so that was my light bulb moment whenever agents were starting to ask me what they recommend for their CRM and system strategy, where it wasn't overnight. Like I built this over the course of a year initially, and I'm still building it today, of what do you do in your CRM? How do you segment your database? How do you create saved searches? How do you craft and create content that people are actually want to receive and people will actually respond to whenever you're creating campaigns? And it was wild. Like some of the programs they would sign up for, they were getting like a 1% response rate, which is terrible. And then once we started implementing these strategies, because I follow people like Jimmy Mackin and Phil Jones and Vin, I don't know how to say his last name, Vin, Giang. They're really great communicators. And I thought, okay, these people are teaching how to communicate like person to person and call, but you can also apply this to your marketing and the way that you do your copywriting and your emails and texts. So I took what I basically learned from those communicators plus a few others and put that into practice with these campaigns, and agents started seeing like 40, 50, 80% response rate compared to the 1%. And it just slowly built, like it's still building over time. Agents just all working with different types of clients needing a different specific type of campaign. So it's been 5 years so far doing this type of work.
Yeah. And so who is your ideal client right now?
We work with solo agents, teams, and brokerages who work in primary residential real estate, and specifically they use the CRM Follow-Up Boss. We are going to be expanding to commercial next year sometime. I'm working with a commercial agent to develop that program. And then we also are going to start expanding to other CRMs next year.
That is so exciting.
Yes. Oh, and mortgage lenders. We also work with mortgage lenders too in FUB if they use Follow Boss.
Do a lot of mortgage lenders use FUB?
It comes in waves where all of a sudden I'll see a number of lenders not being happy with their current systems, and they'll either set it up for themselves or they'll say they have like a preferred agent they work with. Maybe it's a client we already work with, and they say, well, it looks like you already have your systems in place. Like, how do I duplicate it? And agents can add lenders to their Follow Boss account. So we end up setting up Follow Boss for them under. Or sometimes we work with agents who are both lenders and agents. My goodness, I don't know how they do both, but we set it up for them as well.
Yeah, that's great. So if somebody's listening and they're like, I'm not quite ready to hire somebody, I don't use Follow-Up Boss yet, but I'm really struggling with systems, what would be maybe some words of encouragement or some pieces of advice that you could give them?
Start small. Just like when I feel myself getting overwhelmed, when you join mastermind groups, you see people at all different stages that are completely different from you. You'll see people that are talking about AI and complex systems and expensive systems. And you think, oh my gosh, do I have to spend $400, $500, $1,000 a month just to have a basic decent system? And you don't have to. You can start off with a CRM like Follow Boss on your own and learn it. And even if you only have like 100 contacts, a CRM is still helpful for you. If you say, well, I don't buy leads, I only work with people I've already worked with, so like past clients or referrals or a Sphere, I don't really have a big database. A CRM is still so important. When I started this business, I thought I wasn't practicing what I preached. So I thought I could get away without a CRM to save a couple bucks, to save that $69 a month. So I got a big whiteboard on my wall and I did the cliche thing of writing down like my hot prospects' names. And it worked when I only had like 20 people. But once I went beyond 20 people, I couldn't even fit people's names anymore and keep track, and I was erasing and moving people. And so then I thought, okay, let's move over to a spreadsheet. And so I did a spreadsheet, and that is not scalable either. Like, you're just wasting so much time that could have been spent so much better elsewhere. So I went from whiteboard to like Google Sheets to HubSpot. So I was like, okay, I need a CRM, but I don't want to pay for one yet. So let me sign up for a free one like HubSpot. And I did, and it was okay, but it was clunky. I couldn't really automate a lot. Like there's only so much you can get with the free version of a CRM.
Yeah.
And then I eventually transitioned to Follow Boss. So if you're doing baby steps, you can follow the baby steps like I did. Just know that you're going to pull your hair out once you scale past that solution you're doing. Like very quickly, you're going to outgrow the whiteboard or the notebook, and then you're going to quickly outgrow the spreadsheet and the free CRM, and then realize, okay, I do need an actual like robust, paid for, still affordable, but paid for CRM.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is. And I love that you gave it in different steps. Like you can do that, but just know that down the road, you are going to eventually have to invest in it. And it is so true.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So tell us something that you're really looking forward to in 2026.
I'm really looking forward to being able to serve people even more in more capacities. So I tease like commercial and other CRMs, but beyond that, we're helping, we launched like a transaction management in Follow Boss. So we're helping people like condense what they're paying for. So a lot of folks are paying for a CRM and a transaction tool. Like, I don't want to name names, but they're paying for some other transaction management tool. Mm-hmm. And they're spending so much money for tools that can just be built right in the CRM. And so that's one thing. And then we just onboarded. So my husband's our OG developer. He left his software development position to join our team, but now he's capped for time. So we just onboarded a second developer to be able to create even beyond a CRM, like things that can plug into CRM. So like even just something as simple as like, I need a form for events that I'm hosting, giveaways. There's really not like an easy solution for that, or an intake form for transaction management, or a drag and drop form to create your own questionnaires that is just already integrated with the CRM, because the options out there, you have to use Zapier and it's really complex. You have to pay for multiple things. So our whole goal is just like to simplify agents' lives and help them realize they don't need to sign up for all these expensive tools. A lot of what you want to do can be built in CRM. You just need to learn how. Mm-hmm. One other cool thing, which probably won't happen until later next year, is like accountability sweeps. So people are paying a lot of money for accountability platforms, but you can just do that in your CRM again. You just have to have someone like a software developer know how to build that in the CRM and say, okay, I don't need to pay for that anymore, and save a couple more $100.
What's an accountability platform? Give me an example.
So there's a few. Like you could use something like Maverick, which came from the founder of Ylopo. Uh-huh. There's a newer one called Batter by Sisu. But basically what you do is you set up rules to say if an agent receives so many leads, but they're not calling them. So this is more for like a team lead aspect. Uh-huh. If an agent gets so many leads and they're not calling, or they're falling behind, or they haven't made so many calls in our requirements, then it sweeps the lead away from them and assigns it to someone else. It'll send warnings before that happens. That's what I mean by like accountability sweeps.
Yeah. Okay. Love it. All right. And last question is, if you had to go in business in 2026 with a celebrity or an influencer, who would it be?
Callum Faulkner, 100%.
Love the answer. So good. All right. Well, thanks so much for being on the Moms in Real Estate podcast.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, friend, for listening to the podcast. We love having you in our community. If you enjoyed our podcast, please leave us a review or share it with a friend. Also, we'd love to connect with you on Instagram. Go follow us at Moms in Real Estate.